Well, good afternoon, students. Dr. Z here. I'm actually recording from a brand new location. It's actually one of our sister properties that we purchased, and it's going to be used for our master's degree in legal defense. Let's get right into it. So, welcome to the lesson on ICF blocks and scaffolding. Step one is going to be planning the milestone. Imagine having your house basement built successfully to your specifications. It all started by stacking your styrofoam blocks, like playing Legos as a child student. All you got to do is stack these, and they kind of bolt in. They got perforated marks underneath it that kind of snap in from the blocks above it. And did you ever think that you could build your own home as a DIY project, do it yourself, from beginning to end? So tools and equipment. ICF styrofoam blocks, and these were expensive, by the way. I think I spent $5,000 on these blocks, but they were much better than utilizing the old-fashioned blocks that you build basements with, 10-inch blocks, 8-inch blocks. You're actually going to pour an 8-inch thick wall of concrete, and it'll be laced with rebar, but it's so much stronger, and it's actually warmer and insulates your basement much better. So ICF styrofoam blocks, I just said that. Adhesive, razor blade knife, jigsaw, 100-foot tape measure, 4-foot level, 2x10 planks, scaffolding bolts, cement, trowel, anchor bolts, step ladder, tape measure, chalk line, tool belt with ample supplies, and of course proper attire. So step 2, we're going to stack the blocks. Okay, so the first step, students, is to ensure the first course of blocks is glued to the footer. It's the only course that needs to be glued. The rest will just snap in. So once you glue in your first row, the old adage is measure twice and cut once. You want to make sure that your entire ICF blocks are squared to your certified architect plans. Remember that though you may have the length and width exact, you may wind up with a rhombus shape. So that's why you have to measure diagonally on both corners to ensure that it is squared. Okay. Now before you start stacking blocks, you're going to lay out number 4 rebar all the way around the footer, because this is actually going to be snapped into your first level of blocks. And the cool thing about this is that whoever designed the ICF blocks understood that they're going to have rebar, and they have these little hooks inside that you're going to snap it into. And then also the blocks will snap together one course to another, and they make nice little neat corner blocks as well, which really help in the process. So once you have your first layer ICF blocks glued down, you're going to walk the perimeter and snap in one row of number 4 rebar. You want to overlap them. I think they're 10 feet long. Overlap them by 1 or 2 feet. That's good. And then make sure that you bend them in the corners and that they go completely around your first level. Now, if you have doors or sliding glass doors or windows, you want to make sure you account for that. Do not start stacking these and then come to the conclusion that, oops, I forgot to put in a door here and a window here. It's going to be very treacherous trying to get those out, and put in windows and doors. And again, coming up in the future lessons, you're going to build window and door bucks for your log home. For the ICF blocks, you must build window and door bucks. It's basically, since it's about 12 inches wide from outside to outside for your 8-inch ICF blocks. So if you have an 8-inch gap for concrete, it's going to be about 12 inches from outside to outside of styrofoam. You want to basically have a 2x12 to build your bucks, and you simply just build a square and then put it around for your window, and then go ahead and build your ICF blocks around it, and then you're going to glue it into place with your adhesive. So warning, each level that you do, you can gently raise a block here and there, gently pat one down. Ensure that they are level as you go, because you do not want to be completed with an 8-foot courses and have it off 2 or 3 inches on different sides. This will be catastrophic, by the way, when you start building your subfloor, because then your subfloor is going to be not leveled by 2 to 3 inches or however many inches it's off. So this must be leveled as you go. Make sure you level each course as you go up. So that's that tip. Step 3, scaffold build. Remember, we had ordered the 2x12s that you used previously. If you had a 2x12 footer, they will be your walking planks for your scaffold. And then these are A-framed scaffold, which actually screw in to the actual concrete floor that you have already in place. You've had your power trawl guys do that in the previous lesson. And then the other side of the A-frame will actually screw into the ICF styrofoam blocks. Now remember, the block looks like styrofoam on the outside, but on the inside it's got very durable plastic, which you can stand on, walk on, and you can also screw in scaffolding into it, which is even very beneficial to you as a homeowner, because in the future, if you want to hang up paintings or put in a library in your basement or a movie theater or something, you can actually bolt right into those plastic strips and hang TVs and things like that off of it. So it kind of is a very ingenious design, whoever came up with this idea. I think a veteran did this. A disabled veteran designed this and actually came up with this. So note, if you notice the top course of your ICF styrofoam block, after you finish, there's little nipples sticking up, as you can see. And what you want to do is cut those nipples off of your top course, because when you order your pump truck for pouring walls, you want to ensure that you can use the concrete level and trowel to smooth all of that out, and then put your anchor bolts in. So, all right, step 4, pouring the walls. So as the concrete pump truck rolls onto your property, you're probably going to have 2 or 3 other cement mixing trucks pull on the property. The cement mixing truck drivers will dump their mixed cement, which is a special grade for wall pouring, so make sure you tell the cement company about that. They will dump it right into the pump truck. Now that pump truck has an extended boom on it, and it can actually go all around the perimeter of your your wall just by being parked in one spot. So makes life a lot easier. Tip: if you find that part of the wall might need reinforcement like I did, because remember, concrete will shoot out cracks if you've got them. I used OSB plywood to really strengthen the ICF blocks in those cracks to make sure that there was no seeping out. And you can see from the picture here that there's many OSB plywood. I just wanted to make sure everything was secure, and I didn't want walls to be blown out as I'm pouring this concrete in, and that would be catastrophic as well. So another quick tip is you want to do about, if it's an 8 foot high wall, do half of it, which is 4 feet. Remember that you're going to have rebar stacked in horizontally, and then rebar vertically stacked every 2 feet inside your structure of the ICF blocks. So when you're pouring the concrete, it's going to grab onto that rebar. It's recommended to do half the wall first, walk all the way around, and you're going to be on your planks walking. And the pump truck driver is really accurate. He's got a shoulder harness hooked to hand controls, and he's working the controls with you. He's dumping the concrete down a chute, and he's also moving it as you're walking. Very, very, very sharp guy. He knows what he's doing. So, but once you get 4 feet of it in, which is half for me, then you go up and just continue doing the other 4 feet, and it flows out like like soup, like a thick soup. When you get to the top, though, make sure, another quick tip is, if you have extra, you want to make it heaped over the top of the ICF blocks, but maybe a half inch, an inch or so, because you want to, at the end, you're going to take your concrete trowel and smooth it over and push it to the outside of the wall, which is your footer, and that should be very beneficial there. So step 5 would be, so anchor bolts, internet students, don't forget to put in your anchor bolts. And a big warning out there is you must do this before the concrete sets. So it doesn't have to be like within 10 minutes, but I would say within the hour you've got to put the anchor bolts in there that will actually affix to the sill plate, which is what your rim joist will be built upon. Then your subfloor will go upon that, and then stacking your logs all the way up to your steel roof. So, but remember that there's going to be 2 anchor bolts in each corner, because you're going to have 2 columns of rim joists. I'm sorry, not rim joists, but sill plates. And then your rim joists go on top of your sill plate. Your sill plates will lay flat, and they will bolt into the anchor bolts. So once your 8 inches of concrete thick wall dries, you're actually going to bolt down the sill plate in the next video. And be sure that you lay out the lock washer, and nut, and you can just put those right onto the anchor bolt itself and just leave them there just so that you can account for them. So, and that's it. So in closing, please click the thumbs up button. Please subscribe to the channel, students. Write your 1-sheet paper on how you would construct your crawl space or basement to house your ancillary components of your off-grid retreat. Those would be your hot water tank, your solar batteries, your electrical panel, jet pump for wells, plumbing, things like that. I don't need to see the paper because of OPSEC, operational security. But look forward to seeing you in the next video. And as always, Godspeed and be safe.